Hello and welcome back, Amber, to Unabashed You. What a pleasure it is to have you on the show again.
Thanks for having me. It's fun.
Yes, absolutely. Conversations are, harder to come by, I think, now and sort of in real
hmm
life. So setting this time aside, I feel like is really special. So I appreciate you setting time aside to chat with us.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to know you a little bit better here. If you could try out any job for a day, what would it be?
I honestly, I would probably want to go with something simple, like almost like a teenage summer job, or you know what I mean? Uh, just yeah, just to like relax, but not feel like you have to like excel and it's gonna mess anything up, you know?
Right, exactly. Just go put in your time
hmm
and be off and
Yeah.
be able to. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Is there a book that made a big impression on you, either as a as a kid or later on in life?
So I was thinking about this, and first off, the little golden books, those come to
Oh,
mind.
yes.
So like the Pokey Little Puppy and I think the Little Red Hen, both of those are, classics. And so I think I bought those for my kids too, because they're just fun. But then I always read a lot. I think maybe some biographies or autobiographies of people were inspiring, especially women who were doing something for the first time. Yeah.
Yes, I can understand the appeal there.
Yeah.
All right. Do you wear a fragrance? I'm having fun with this question.
I used to when I was, yeah, younger, but I don't really anymore. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
did you wear when you were younger?
I think it was something from Victoria's Secret.
Okay.
It might have been Sensual Amber, actually, which is
Okay.
kind of funny, obviously, my name, but it had
Right.
like that amber, like almost like musky smell
Uh-huh.
to it. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's fun.
Yep.
It's just fun to kind of ask sort of
hmm
random questions and find out different things
Yeah.
about people that we wouldn't normally know.
What about you, Rochelle?
Well,
Fragrance?
I've currently been wearing Clinique Happy. It's just very fresh.
I have
Do
that.
you have?
I
Yes,
do. That's
yes,
actually one I'll go to right now if yeah,
yes.
that's fun.
It's
Yeah.
citrusy. It's light.
hmm
It's
Yeah, it's
yeah.
happy. Yeah,
It's
it's a happy
very happy.
smell.
It is
Yeah.
very happy.
Yeah. I have like the little travel one. Yeah.
Yes, I have the travel
Yeah.
one as well. Very good.
That's neat.
Something on your bucket list, Amber. What's left on that bucket
Mm.
list?
Going to Italy. I would love that.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
just like going and like enjoying the villas and the countryside and food and all of it. Yeah.
very well. That's a good one. That's a good
hmm
one. And an author that you admire. Who's somebody you admire?
I admire women who are vulnerable, and who have gone through hard things and are able to show up and share from that vulnerability, but then also teach us something. So two people come to mind, but one, Lisa Turkhurst. I don't know if you're familiar, but
Sounds
she
familiar.
yeah, we might have talked about it in one of the last
Okay.
episodes, but she walked through infidelity of her husband and just a lot of significant, woundedness, shall we say. And,
Hmm.
but then, and even prior to that, she would write out of her struggles. So, like one of her books that really was amazing for me was Uninvited. And that
Ah,
deals with rejection in many forms. But anyhow, with her husband and kind of it's her ex-husband now, but all that she went through during that time, she was able to like write a book on trust and
oh gosh.
forgiveness and things that so many of us can relate to. So
Wow, that sounds
yeah.
very inspiring and encouraging. And
hmm
I agree and feel very similarly in women who are able to be vulnerable and
hmm
share something that has been very hard that they went through, and then leave you with something that you might be able to bring into your own life.
Yes. Yeah.
Very good. Well, as you know, we are in a series called Thinking Through My Fingers, a writer's
Hmm.
series. And so I've had you on before and you were working on a book, and I think it's finally out, but we're going to talk about all of that. Let's start with the why of why do you write?
Why do I write? So I write to empower and to inspire others who are walking through hard things. I write because I have something to say now, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it does.
I mean, did I have something to say before I've walked through significant battles? I did, but not something where I felt compelled that I needed to share
Right,
it. Yeah.
right, right. And so we're going to find out more about
Hmm.
your book. Um, what the book that you just released, I believe it just got released. I want to say in
Not
March.
quite.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
okay. We're
Yeah, it
okay.
hasn't it'll probably be published in June is what it's looking like.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, tell
I'm at
us, tell us.
endorsement phase. Yeah.
Okay, tell us
Yep.
about it. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So my book, it's called The Forgotten Caregiver of Mental Crisis: Navigating Suicidality After Trauma with Increased Hope, Resilience, and Practical Strategies. So it is for the primary person caring for their loved one who is fighting against suicide. And so we walk through a significant battle for life for my veteran husband. And I was his caregiver through a lot of mental health struggles with PTSD, combat trauma,
Hmm.
PTSD, and then suicidality. He is still alive, but now we have walked through a lot of healing, a lot of therapy, and now we're at a place where I'm able to share and share a book that is going to help others where I was. And I wrote my book from, it is integrated. I'm a PA, so a physician assistant. So I write from a research mindset and a neuroscience mindset, kind of, like looking at the neuroscience of trauma and how can we heal from that, but then also from a faith perspective, because through such significant battles against darkness, faith in God was, what kept me standing and to keep going. So,
And you probably hadn't, I mean, this is so typical, but when you go through something as hard as you went through, you had no idea that you were going to take all of that experience and put it together and write it. I
hmm.
mean, I'm so fascinated by the fact that you're RPA and you've got the
Mhm.
science mindset, and then you've got the faith, and then you went through this really hard thing, and you can really help others. I love
Mhm.
you write to empower and inspire others. That is
Yeah,
just so beautiful.
yeah, because yeah,
Beautiful.
we need something to grab a hold of and pull us up when we are walking through such difficult things. So, yeah,
Oh, that's
yep,
so true.
yeah,
Yes. Oh,
yeah, yeah.
yes. Okay, so tell me about, okay, so now the book is going to come out in early summer, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think June. I don't have a publication date yet, but I'm getting my last endorsements, which are
Okay.
really important, obviously, for, credibility and sharing. And then it will go through formatting, and then we'll be very quickly having a book in our hands.
Well, it must feel like it's been a very long journey. I mean, obviously,
Hmm.
you've gone through with your husband. I mean, that in and of itself, incredible, your ability to be so dedicated and really hang in there and learn on your feet while you're in it
Yeah.
is truly incredible. And we've had a couple conversations, and so I know you've been working on this book
Hmm.
for a long time, and it must feel like a very long labor.
It has been, yeah. And when I signed with the publishing company, I think we're almost at a year and a half now. And
Wow.
it's interesting because the length of time that we were in significant crisis was almost 2 years, and so like the birthing of this book and having to walk through and relive everything over and over and analyze and then try to look at it from my reader's perspective. What do they need?
Hmm.
You know, uh, that's a whole different, it's a whole new, yeah, you're reliving all the difficult stuff, all the trauma, all the everything, and having to take time away from it at times in terms of caring for yourself.
Right.
When you're writing about hard things, but you've also written about, hard stuff for your
Yes, thank
in your
you.
life.
Yes, I have. Amber's making reference to the book Standing Tall, Collection of Hope, in which I talk about the experience we had with our infant son that died of a heart defect. So yes, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously neither one of us would have volunteered for these
Hmm.
experiences, and yet we both know that although they were hard, God is working both of them for good because
Yes.
he does, he can, and that's who he is. So,
Yeah.
right. We definitely have that in, we share that very strong faith. What did you learn about yourself through the writing process?
What did I learn about myself? Goodness. I mean, I definitely continued to heal through the writing process, in terms you're talking about the book specifically, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, because I also have my blog where I do writing as well. Um, I think, yeah, I don't know, quite
That's
frankly,
okay.
what I learned through the process. I mean, I grew a lot as a writer, for sure. Yeah, editing is its own beast. Very much so. And yeah, one thing I learned is, you have your outline and I mean, for me, I knew my title and I knew my outline and I had it very squared away. But then as I continued writing the book, and continued to begin to realize what more was needed for the caregiver who is forgotten, that it needed more for the caregiver. And so then that began to shift things. And it actually ended up changing the title of the book, because
Mm,
it had a different title, which was Solid before. So yeah, the title changed and then also the outline changed. And so it's just interesting how, you may have it so set up, that, oh, this is exactly how it's going to be. And then you have to be open to that creative process and I guess that growth process within yourself as you're writing a book.
right.
To be able to shift if you're beginning to feel like you need it to be a little bit different for your reader.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I think that is really great that you were open to that because I think that you strike me as probably a lot like I would be. Like I know what's going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm going to call it. I know what I'm going to include in it, and then you
Yep.
put it, and then you realize, oh, wait a minute, uh-oh, the pivot, the shift,
Yep. You
like
got to begin to shift. Yeah.
it's
Yep.
necessary.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any advice for somebody who wants to write?
So, advice for someone who wants to write is to begin to take small steps of risk. So for me, I began to write. I'd always written, journal wise, processing wise for myself. But when I began to step into publicly writing, I started with a blog. So either starting with a blog or maybe starting, I mean, it's easier to start social media wise, just doing something little. So begin with that and then just keep doing it and choosing to commit to however often you're going to do it. Maybe when you first start out, it's only once a month, maybe it's
Right.
once a week. And then just staying consistent with that. And as you begin to keep doing it, then you're going to begin to learn your style and then also what resonates with others. And what you enjoy writing about.
Right.
The other thing I would recommend, for someone who's starting to write is certainly start to write, but then also don't do it by yourself.
Ah,
When I began my blog, I was all by myself. I really didn't know any other writers, but I knew the Lord had called me to writing and gave me this blog name, Choose Joy in the Midst. And so I began to, I learned everything myself and, and was writing, but then you begin to get weary and, you maybe get stuck because like I had a lot of website issues and technology issues. And it wasn't until, I guess maybe 2 years in, or a little longer than that, where I joined a community of writers. And immediately I began to learn and grow, and there was support and encouragement. And then there was also training with it. It was Compel Pro Writers, is what it's called now, Compel Pro, and that's actually under Lisa Turkhurst. But then I joined Hope Writers, if you're familiar, later, and so then with different communities comes different, I guess, strengths, or different trainings, ways to grow. And so not just doing one, but beginning to kind of grow as you learn and get to know more and more people. Yeah.
That's really good advice. And I like that you said small steps of risk because,
Mm-hmm.
for some of us,
Yeah.
change or newness, all of that is like, ah. So
Mm-hmm.
just taking those small steps can really
Yeah.
add up. I'm sure looking back, you see how many small steps you took to end up where you are today and where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
really
well, and
beautiful.
even right now, for us to be encouraged to take small steps. Right now I'm stepping into speaking and,
Ooh.
in-person speaking and so again, there's that risk, there's that newness and yeah, yep. So being
Oh, that's so
courageous,
good. I love
brave.
that. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So tell me about your writing process. Do you have like you do longhand on yellow legal pads, you go straight to the computer,
Mm.
or do you have any rituals or time of day or anything?
It is different and it changes. So I mean, I'm a mom, busy mom, kids, and family life, and so in terms of when I write, it varies. Especially when I was writing the book, and was really heavy into that, my husband and I would have to talk about where there were pockets of time where I could go and write for more hours. And so I might leave for 2 nights, 2 nights of the weekday, or I may take a few hours or a whole day during the weekend and just go and work and write and and know that that was my time. But in terms of more kind of routine writing, there have been times where I would wake up, an hour to 2 hours earlier than the family and would write then. I'm not doing that right now. But then at different times, like, like you'll get inspired or you'll have an idea and I'll use my notes app in my phone pretty often, or if I go on a run, sometimes an idea will come to me. And I'll quickly, try to speak it into the notes section. So
Right.
yeah, those are some of the things. Ritual. Oh, you mentioned paper versus like longhand versus typing. I do type, but then it seemed like I like to print off. So like the book, especially, or if I'm writing an article for a different blog or I don't know, something like a magazine or something, a pitch. I like to print it off longhand and then read it and then edit it that way. And often I'll turn the page over and like keep writing. And so some of the book and some of the chapters were actually, yeah, written, yeah, longhand and
Oh,
then typed in because it just, I don't know, I know that's a type of learning, maybe kinesthetic is that, but yeah.
right. And the
Yeah.
having to write something
Hmm.
you I guess brain-wise learn
Hmm.
better if you
Yeah, yeah, I
have to
don't
write
know.
it.
But yeah, so it depends. But yeah, especially reading and like editing, it's a lot easier for me to have it in my hand. Yeah.
Right. I get
Yeah.
that. I totally get.
Hmm.
Now, what I mean, you've mentioned, and so I want you to expand on this if you'd like, what you hope readers are t going to take away once they've got,
Hmm.
your book in their hands.
Well, again, I hope they'll be empowered. Um, I really hope that they will feel seen.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I in terms of, especially in terms of being a caregiver, in terms of being the person pouring out for your loved one with whatever illness or disease state they have, you lose who you are usually. And so, yeah, to feel seen, to feel valued, and then to not feel alone.
Mhm.
Yeah. But then again, I guess in terms of writing, also, I really hope that specifically, with my book or some of the articles that I write, that people will feel empowered to take the next step for themselves. And maybe they'll learn something they didn't know before, neuroscience wise or whatnot, but then they will feel able to continue forward, in growth and healing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's so fabulous. And of course, I mean, I'm heartbroken for everything your husband has been through and everything that you have been through in wanting so much to help him, be the caregiver and to help him heal in the way that you could. And yet, and at the same time, very grateful that you've put all this together and you're putting it out there for the people who are going to need to hear it. And maybe some people who don't even know they're going to be going through it, right?
Yeah,
So
you don't
wonderful.
expect it. Yeah.
No, and again,
Yeah.
not something you'd sign up for. I mean, none of them
Mhm.
you just wouldn't. Is there anything? Okay, so do tell us how we can find you.
So presently you can find me, I'm pretty active on Instagram, Amber Jeann Parker with two N's, but then also Choose Joy in the Midst, MIDST. And then my website, choosejoyinthemidst.com. Soon I will have my author website up. That will be amberjparker.com, and that'll be
Ah,
specifically author and book. So
oh,
I have my blog. And actually I have my shop too. I think we've talked about this before.
yes. Yes, we have.
Yes, but anyhow, but yeah, I revamped my choosejointhemidst.com website, and so the landing page you can kind of see some new things. It's not just the blog, but yeah, so you
Okay.
can find me that way.
Okay, so active on Instagram,
Instagram
Amber
mostly.
Jean Parker, choose
Yep.
joy in the midst.com. And soon you're going to have, now, what was that third one, that last one?
It will be
Okay, not
amberjparker.com.
okay, so J, not the whole Gene.
Yes,
Okay,
yep. Yeah.
okay, got it. I want to be
Yep.
sure I get that
Amber
right.
J. Parker. Yeah. And
Okay,
it's
got it.
coming soon.
Coming soon.
Yeah, for the author one.
There's
Yeah.
always a little something to tweak and work on. And
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I appreciate your creativity and the way that you are wanting to get all this out there. I think it is very inspiring and will be very impactful. Do you plan on okay, so you told us you're going to be speaking more.
Mm-hmm.
And do you
Yes.
plan to do any like small group coaching or larger Facebook groups? Or maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here or ahead of you. I don't
No, I think your insight is spot on. I love small group atmospheres. I would love to do some group coaching. I have been taking coaching classes since last year, but yeah, I would love to do some group coaching. And I would love to create some webinars and some different courses online as time goes on. And then, speaking at different events. Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. It's so important to it's the thing that only you can do. And
Mhm.
that's one of my big messages here with this platform is I need you to do the thing that only you can do. And you
Mhm.
need me to do the thing that only I can do. And if
Yeah.
we all do those things, I feel like life is so much richer, more fulfilling, like you say, more impactful and empowering. And it's
Mhm.
very service oriented.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that is one of the hugest reasons that we're here in the first place. So
Mhm.
I love that
Y-
you're doing all
Yeah.
this. I really do. Is there anything, are you going to continue to write? Oh, I mean, do you think you're going to?
I I I I don't plan to stop. But I think I really do enjoy the in-person interactions. I mean, I enjoy writing. And I'm sure there will be more books at some point. But yeah, I really love interacting with others and having that feedback and that back and forth. So yeah, we'll see.
Good.
Yeah,
Very
but yeah,
excited.
continue writing. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's so great. You're gonna keep on. Yeah, very
hmm
important and very needed. Is there anything you didn't get to say as we conclude here?
Hmm. Well, and I know this is pivoting towards you, but again, this is part of me, Rechelle, if you
Okay.
know. But I know you have shared in an email recently about interacting with some new things for yourself and the trajectory for you and not that you have to share.
Oh,
But yeah, it's exciting and
thank you.
yeah, I'm
Amber, you're
excited
so
for you.
sweet. You're so sweet. You are very thoughtful and gracious. I'm grateful for that. I too have some of the same yearnings that you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about. I mean, I was a teacher way back when. I have a need to do the same, to
Mm-hmm.
share some of what I've been through and to encourage women, in particular women of
Yeah.
faith, to do the thing that only they can do and to not wait until it's too late to try to figure out what that might be and to, birth it forth. If I
Mm,
such an
yeah.
odd phrase, but that's so. And then I too, taking the book, I'm actually in the process of recording the audiobook version right now, and
Okay.
I want to take um, that not just the experience, the sadness of it all, but tracing the hand of God and all of the good things that happened after. And
Mm,
Romans 8:28, for we know that God causes all things to work for good. And it doesn't have a parentheses in there except when Ron and Rochelle's son dies, except when
mm,
Amber's husband goes through this hard thing. It doesn't, there is no except. It's all things. He can
mm,
say all and mean it. So I too, in the preparing like a presentation to give to women's groups and yeah, very very parallel sorts of things.
mhm,
I there it's so interesting. You have this passion, this desire to, I do, and I think you do too,
mhm,
to serve.
mhm,
Really, that servant's heart. I have that.
mhm. Well, and I think for you also, it's a desire to empower others to step beyond where they're at.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I see group coaching in your future. I don't know. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
that is something I
That
would,
would be amazing.
yeah, I would be very much enjoy. I know I would enjoy it, and I
Mhm.
believe I would be good at it. So, yes, thank
And
you.
you already have, you have so many people who follow you already that
Oh,
yeah, that would be
sweet.
yeah. They would love to interact with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's such a
Yeah.
wonderful vote of confidence, and I
Yeah.
another little vote of confidence earlier today. So I feel like
Okay.
God's like saying, "Okay,
Yeah.
right this
hmm
way, right this
Yep.
way."
Yep.
Well, thank you for that, Amber. I feel deeply moved by not just everything you've been through in that, because that's already enough, but everything you are doing and want to do and put out into the world. It's such goodness and it is so important. And I think it's exciting. I can't wait for it to, bear more fruit and all of that. I think it's just wonderful.
Mm. One more thing, if I'm
Sure.
able,
Yes,
because as you're
absolutely.
talking about all the things, and I think the one other thing I would give an advice or encouragement is, like for me, I could do all the things, but I don't have time, and I don't
Uh,
have capacity in myself, my energy, to be able to do all of those yet. And so that's
right.
why, like, yes, I do want to do those, but again, to look at ourselves and our life and our capacity and not try to push ourselves too hard so that then we burn out. So
Uh,
to kind of, that perseverance of just, yeah, okay, what can I do next? And that
right,
whole idea that we were talking about in the beginning, taking that next small step, but not trying to
right,
like do a podcast and speaking and writing and a book. And, like sometimes that's too many things and you have to do
right,
it well. So,
right.
yeah, just
Yes.
continue to add slowly.
Right, that's very good advice. And
Yeah.
I think it can come and it will come. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that is excellent advice. I mean, we all have the same 24/7. I mean that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think balance is really, really important, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I am not willing to give that up. I,
Mm-hmm.
I want to have balance while I am pursuing and putting the good things out there. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's another
Yep.
wonderful piece of encouragement.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amber. This has been
No,
such
for
a
sure.
ride. As always, I just really treasure our time together.
Me too.